Blackstone Audio presents The Long Knives Are Crying by Joseph M. Marshall III.
Dedication. In loving memory of my grandmothers, Annie Goodvoice Eagle Two-Hawk and M. Blanche Rubadoo Brave Marshall, mothers of Lakota warriors. Prologue. June 23rd, 1920. John Richard Cloud stood hat in hand at the fence in the east ditch alongside the road, and gazed into a long, wide, shadowy gully that stretched away from the narrow highway. They were on the Crow Reservation, enemy country. He had not seen a Crow Indian for more than 40 years, though he knew they were still around. Something stirred inside of him, an ancient, inherent sense of wariness. It was an instinctive response, left over from the old days when he and other Lakota warriors had ridden into Crow territory. But things had changed, and there was no way to avoid the fact that their destination, the site of the Greasy Grass battle, was on land that now belonged to the Crow tribe. He knew a Crow war party would not charge out of the gully, but part of him almost wished it would. He sighed and looked up to the ridge above the gulch, where a thick stand of tall pine trees covered the jagged crest. Behind him and below the road was the town of Lodgegrass, Montana. On the narrow shoulder of the road his grandson Justin Fontenot was putting a spare tire on the car. They had been chugging along steadily, albeit slowly, when a tire blew. Justin finished and lowered the jack, then stood and walked around the car to inspect the other tires. "This tire is torn, and the tube has a hole in it," Justin said. "I think we ran over something sharp. I want to mount the other spare tire before we go." Justin was 22, a strong young man who stood just over 6 feet tall and bore a striking resemblance to his grandfather. In April, he had been honorably discharged from the U.S. Army after a 3-year enlistment that included service on the battlefields of France in 1918. A few yards.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?